We are in Vera Playa, the famous naked city in Spain. And on social media, we asked you what you really wanted to know about this place. We received so many questions like, how long is the nude beach? Can you really walk the streets without clothes? Is it a swingers place? Can you feel comfortable as a female alone? And so many more.
We got a lot of questions about whether you can really be naked in the streets in Vera Playa.
In this bar, it's perfectly okay to be naked. How much does it cost to buy property here? Can you get an actual job in Vera Playa?
Somebody who's clearly been following us for a while asked about the poo situation on the street. We are going to do the ultimate discomfort test. The setup of Vera Playa can be a bit confusing. Well, at least it was to us when we came here the first time. So to understand the complete image, I need to give you a little bit of history. Before the end of the 1970s, Vera Playa was just a very long nude beach. And then in 1979 came the Naturist Hotel, as well as the first naturist urbanization. And from there it just kept growing and growing until over the decades it became an actual village.
This is something very important to remember. Vera Playa is an actual village with everything that you can imagine that a village has, except that it's totally fine to be naked almost everywhere because it was built for that.
As the Spanish coast was further developed, the naked part always remained exactly the same size. So that creates some confusion because now there is a naked Vera Playa. This is the commercial center within the naked zone. And a clothed Vera Playa.
So this is the clothed commercial center of Vera Playa.
And it's not very well marked. We'll show you.
This is a corner of the naturist zone. This is a corner. This is a corner, more or less. Right there where you see the garbage cans, that's the end of the naturist zone because that is the beginning of the big road that also connects all the other villages. And this is a corner. It's actually all invisible lines, but if you stick to the zone, you're really sure that you can walk around without clothes.
We also got a few questions about the naked versus clothed ratio. On the beach, I would say it's at least 90 to 95% naked.
Definitely.
In the streets, it's more like a 50-50. And in the strip, 15 or 20 towards 80 going textile. We got a lot of questions about whether you can really be naked in the streets in Vera Playa and about how comfortable it is. So the first one is yes, you can really be naked on all the streets within the naturist zone. It's totally accepted, it's totally fine. And is it comfortable?
Well, it's a very personal thing. It's a very personal answer as well. If you feel comfortable walking around without clothes and other people are wearing clothes, then yeah, go for it.
To be honest, it's something you need to get used to because this is an actual village and we are not used to walking around naked in real villages, only in resorts. So it takes a while to grasp the idea that this is actually fine. This is totally normal to be naked here. Somebody who's clearly been following us for a while asked about the poo situation on the street. When we were here last time, we made a video and we kind of complained that there was so much dog poop everywhere on the streets.
If there is one thing that I absolutely dislike about Vera Playa, it's the can I say shit?
You can say shit.
Okay, it's the dog shit. I understand that your dog needs to poo, but clean it up.
I'm happy to tell you that this time it looks a lot better. But we have to do the ultimate test. We're taking you to Shit Street. It really is a lot better. There is the odd one in a corner, but it's nothing like it used to be.
I just think that most of the people watched our video and they felt very, very ashamed that they don't clean up their dog shit and that's why it's cleaner. I really believe that. Can you be naked in the shops and in the bars?
Here on the beach, totally. There are 3 beach bars, beach restaurants that are on the official nude beach. It's Nutson, it's the Pirate Bar and the one whose name that just escapes me. Anyway, their nudity is totally fine inside and outside.
But there are also some bars in town that allow nudity. In this bar, it's perfectly okay to be naked.
In Hotel Street, it's more like an ask first policy.
So this is one of the bars where you should ask first if you can be clothes free on the terrace or not. We asked it 4 years ago and it was perfectly fine.
Of this bar, we actually know for certain that they do allow nudity.
But this bar is the only bar on the strip that really indicates that it's okay to go clothes-free. And as a point of reference, this bar is next to the hotel.
For the shops, it's a different story. They are by default textile only.
An interesting question would be, why is not every place in Vera Playa and on the strip by default nude friendly? But I'm happy that nobody asked it, because I honestly don't have the answer.
Somebody also asked if you can watch live music here. Well, I can tell you, or I can show you. There are a few bars that offer live music, but it's mostly during high season. Someone asked, is it tolerated to be nude in the non-nude sections? Well, you just don't do that. That's why you have the naked commercial center.
And somebody else wanted to know, if you're buying a condo in the non-nude section, how nude can you be?
In your apartment, you can do whatever you want. But if you really want to get out of your apartment naked and walk to the beach naked, then it's best that you look for an apartment inside of the naked zone.
Let's talk about the accommodations. We are staying in our van on the side of the street, but most people don't do that. A popular accommodation is, of course, the hotel.
Here's the famous Vera Playa Club Hotel. I would love to show you the inside, but they don't allow us to film inside, so I can only show you the front and the back and maybe a drone shot.
The most common, however, are the many naturist urbanizations. We'll show you around.
There are about 10 naturist urbanizations in Vera Playa. And thanks to our friend Tony, we could have a look inside some of them. Each urbanization has a number of rental apartments and their own facilities, like a swimming pool, for example. We checked out Bahia de Vera, Vera Natura, Torremar, La Minara and Knudsen, which all looked really nice. When you're booking an apartment, it's important to check whether it's really a naturist urbanization, because even within the naturist zone, there are urbanizations where you are not allowed to be naked.
By the way, Tony, our guide, has his own YouTube channel and he posts almost daily little videos of Vera Playa, so go and check it out. How much does it cost to buy property here?
There are a few realtors in town. Of course, they cover the whole area and not just the naturist village. But if you look at prices for the naturist village, it starts at 125,000 for a studio and it goes into 300, 400,000 for actual big apartments. The realtors are just for buying places, not for renting them. I think the renting is done directly via the owner, so I don't really have prices for that. Somebody also asked if there is a retirement community here. Well, there are about 500 people who live here full-time, and from what we've seen, most of them seem retired.
But what if you're not retired? Can you get an actual job in Vera Playa?
I would say definitely yes, because it's a village. We've seen nail salons, we've seen hairdressers, but I also imagine that this place needs electricians and definitely gardeners, plumbers, like everything that another village needs. And of course, if you can work location independent, then it's a great place to be.
More about the people who visit Vera Playa. Is it age and gender balanced? I would definitely say the age balance. We've seen the two. During the weekend, it was a really good mix actually, with families and groups of friends our age that were here. But during the week, obviously, people are working, so it is slightly an older crowd.
And gender-wise, I guess it slightly leans towards more male than female. But unless you're really looking for it, I don't feel like you really notice it. Somebody also asked if this is a swingers place.
Well, there is a swingers club, and as far as we know, it's also the only swingers club in Vera Playa, and it's also, I've never seen anything on the beach or in the streets or stuff like that.
Interestingly, the nude beach sign is right in front of the swingers club. I wonder if that's on purpose.
And now we got two very interesting questions. One from a woman who asked if she could be perfectly okay by herself without getting harassed.
And one from a man who wondered if he could come here on his own without being seen as a creep. Well, we tested it out. We are going to do the ultimate discomfort test. We are splitting up. We're going to different parts of the beach to see if I will be harassed and if everybody will think that Linz is a creep.
Or vice versa.
To be honest, I already find it a bit uncomfortable to be walking around with a camera on my own. Camera set off alarm bells, and I feel that it's less predatory as a couple, to be filming as a couple, than just a guy walking around with a camera at a naturist place.
I'm in front of the Nutson bar. Why I chosen this spot? Just because I like the vibe and I also want to get a drink there later.
I found a spot in a very crowded part of the beach. Most other people are couples, but there are some other men and also a few women on their own. I don't think, it feels like nobody really noticed me, but I don't really want to be looking around, checking people's reactions, because that might look a little bit weird.
I'm here 15 minutes while I was completely surrounded with couples before. In the meantime, 2 single guys came lying very close to me. So I think I'm just gonna move.
I've been here for half an hour now. I don't think that anyone finds it strange that I'm sitting here on my own. I don't think people notice me. But I feel I'm very aware of my own movements, of what I'm doing. Talking to this camera is very, very awkward, makes me feel super suspicious. And even with my e-reader, I try not to point it to anyone, even though it doesn't have a camera. Maybe I also need to add that I'm not used to this. This is probably the first time ever that I'm alone on a nude beach.
Found a new spot and I just moved a couple of meters further. I'm surrounded by couples and yeah, this feels just a little bit more comfortable for me.
Spent about an hour and a half on the beach and really nothing noteworthy happened. So let's do another test and go to a bar. This was again a very normal experience. Nobody seemed to be bothered at all that I was just sitting there on my own having a beer. The only thing I found super uncomfortable with throughout this whole experiment is filming. I really did not want to be this guy with a camera at a naturist place.
After an hour in the bar, everything went perfectly fine until one guy came over and he started to annoy me.
She was late. Let's talk about the beach. Somebody wanted to know how long the beach is precisely.
And why aren't there any signs on the beach?
The nude beach is almost 3 kilometers long. In fact, I think it's 2.75 kilometers. And there are some signs indicating that this is an actual nude beach, an official nude beach. But there are no signs at the beginning of the end. And that's mostly because this is Spain. Nudity is legal on any beach. So technically the nude beach just keeps going on and on and on as an official nude beach. We heard rumors of people saying that you can get a fine if you're naked outside of the official nude beach. That is not true. It's illegal to fine people for being naked on the beach in Spain.
And in addition to that question, somebody else asked us a question about going topless. Is it okay to go only topless on the nude beach? Very good question, by the way. And I can tell you, it is absolutely fine if you don't feel comfortable yet to go completely nude, to just go topless and enjoy the day on the beach. It's absolutely fine.
And I guess that now it's the time for the most annoying question of this video. Obviously also from somebody who has been watching our channel quite a lot. They want to know how cold the water is, and they're specifically asking me.
Thank you for that.
My feet are already getting numb. It's absolutely freezing. As a last question, and maybe one of the most important ones, when is the best time to visit Vera Playa? It all depends on what you want. In winter, it gets very, very slow here. There are very few people. You can get sunny days, but it's not the warmest weather. In summer, on the other hand, it gets really warm here and super busy. So we personally prefer the shoulder seasons, like somewhere March to June or September to November. But again, it's all up to you. And this concludes this Q&A. If you enjoyed this type of video, this blueprint, please let us know in the comments, because we would like to make more of these at other places. And we are going to continue our journey. So if you want to know where we're going next,
make sure you hit the subscribe button, put on your notifications if you don't want to miss our next video, and we see you in 2 weeks. Oh, and by the way, thank you for watching. Bye! And in addition to that question, somebody else also asked
until the Naturist Hotel came, as well as a couple of urbanizations. And
I would love to show you the inside, but they don't allow.
Let's talk about today.